One of the things I love about cross countries are the people you meet along the way, like Keith Salyer from Mesa, Arizona.
My name is Keith Salyer out of Mesa, Arizona, and I ride with the Christian Motorcycle Association, better known as CMA, through the motorcycle community. And we ride to rallies and we minister to bikers, and we try to just change one heart at a time. We basically try to go to motorcycle rallies. We try to ride, wear our colors, and try to ride with, representing Christ. And we just try to, we try not to push, force feed people. We just try to live an example and let them watch us, because they do watch us, and let us just try to lead by example. And we meet a lot of people like I did you, and they come up to us and start talking to us. The next thing you know, we're talking about Christ. I've been saved since I was about 7 years old, and Lord has led me through several different ministries. I never dreamed I'd be ministering in the biker community. I once was head of ushers for a Southern Baptist church, and had like 50 different ushers that they reported to me, and that I was responsible for scheduling and everything, and thought that's where God was leading me. Then He blessed me with this motorcycle, and He took me a totally different turn, and here I am.
After leaving Blythe, California, we decided due to the high temperatures to ride to Phoenix at night. At 10 p.m. it was over 100 degrees, so with over 120 miles of basically nothing but desert, I felt this was our only option. Since there are few roads in this part of the country, this is one of the few places it's legal to ride a bicycle on the interstate. With our bicycles donned with lights and flashers, we rode in the emergency lane all the way to Phoenix. Oh yeah, and by the way, one state down and only 7 more to go.
We can take that one off.
The next morning we left Phoenix for Globe, Arizona, and more climbing. Hema was feeling full of energy, so he rode ahead while I lagged behind. It was 106 degrees and I was spent.
There is the mountain pass I am headed for. It's going to take a while to get there, but oh well. I'm tired.
At the bottom of the climb, I said a small prayer that God would give me some relief. As you can see from the pictures, within moments of the prayer, it began to rain. The wind began to blow on my back and literally pushed me all the way up the mountain. These are pictures from my first trip. The second one, I got some good video footage of the town of Superior and the bridge. Just beyond that bridge, there's a tunnel that goes through part of the mountain. And being the southern boy I am, when I got in the tunnel, I just couldn't hold back. Woo! With that rebel yell came a new burst of energy, and boy did I need it. I still had 23 miles of climbing to go before I reached Globe. But with a huge tailwind, this climb was a breeze. Just outside of Globe, I noticed this strange little monument on the roadside. Talking to the locals, I found out that someone, they're not sure who, built this, and the locals turned it into a shrine. Inside are pictures, prayers, candles, and all sorts of items left by local folks and passers-by. Since I'd made such good time, due in large part to the tailwind and the nice light rain, I took some time and enjoyed the day. Globe is actually a copper mining town, and some of the articles within the shrine reflect that. The first time I rode through Globe, I learned that the copper mine was rumored to be closing, but as of this trip, it was still in operation. Now, I said that I enjoyed meeting folks, and these next folks, Charles and Sharon Mattern, are a couple who in my 3 trips to Globe have become good friends.
We're Charles and Sharon Mattern.
And you live here in Globe. How long have you lived here?
4.5 years.
Yes.
So you've been 4.5 years in Globe. Where do you go to church at here?
Maranatha Baptist Church.
Maranatha Baptist Church. And so you've been going to the church as long as you've been here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're so glad you came back through here. We look forward to seeing you again on this trip, one of your trips. And if not here, we certainly look forward to seeing you in heaven.
Yes. The next morning we left the town of Globe for the small Arizona town of Safford, but I will never forget my good friends, the Matterns. The terrain from Globe to Safford changes quickly. In Globe there are a few trees, but soon the trees fade and are replaced with cactus and scrub brush. This day's ride is mostly flat and the temperature would hover just below 100. What little wind was blowing was on our back. Hema had once again left, but this time it wasn't because I was lagging behind. I was having mechanical problems. The following is a journal entry explaining this day's ride. We headed out at 6 a.m. After riding only 4 miles, I noticed my seat was too low. I got off and adjusted it, and then found that the seat clip that holds the seat in place was broken. Rather than stopping Hema, I let him go ahead, and I walked across the road to a service station to get some help. After I got the seat post fixed, I started again. 45 miles later, I decided to stop at the small town of Bylas, Arizona at a store and get some Gatorade. The people in the store were not very friendly, but I understand their frustration. This is an Apache Indian reservation in the middle of nowhere with no industry to support the inhabitants. While I was leaning on my bicycle enjoying the ice-cold Gatorade, a man pulled into the parking lot in a big 1970 Cadillac with Texas plates. He was an Indian and looked to be about 5'0". With a mean look on his face, he marched up to me and said, "Boy, where's the bathroom?" I said, "I'm sorry, sir, but I don't know." He screamed, "You don't know? What are you going to do if you have to go?" In my slow southern voice, I said, "I guess if I have to go, I'll go inside and ask somebody where it's at." Something I said must have made him mad because he got up in my face and said, "These people are lazy." Then he started rambling on about fighting with just about every nationality known to man, looked me in the eyes and said, "I'm not afraid of anyone. You can't scare someone who's not afraid to die." He continued to curse as he left me and walked inside the store. In about 1.2 seconds after that, I was on my bicycle getting out of there. Soon enough, I left Bylas and the short, mad Indian man behind and made it to the outskirts of Safford. And it is 12:14, and I have averaged 14.4 miles an hour, and my back tire is going flat. I think down here below Walmart's Holiday Inn. I'll stop there, probably since my tire's flat. I got my tire aired up, but it's going back down pretty quick, so I got to hurry. Well, there's home for the night. Maybe. If I got any vacancies. I'm here in Safford. Well, after a good night's sleep in Safford, we left the fertile green pastures behind, and soon we would be back in the high desert again. Well, here I am, back in the desert again. It's only been about 30 minutes since I left Safford. Just up ahead is Highway 191. I can take it. It heads directly to the east, but it also goes up into the mountains. And the highest peak that you have to climb is like 8,300 feet. And it actually adds miles to the trip because it goes out of the way. I don't think I'll be taking Highway 191. This roadway was actually part of the historic and sometimes dangerous Overland Trail. This was one of the first non-snow routes from the east to California. In other words, you didn't have to wagon over really high mountains. As we rode, we passed a lot of historical markers that told of some of the dangers early travelers on this road faced. This historical marker in the Gila Valley, it says, "In memory of two of the many pioneers who brought law, order, and safety to the Gila Valley. Lorenzo and Seth Wright were killed 1 mile north of this spot, shot by Indians who had stole 45 horses from early settlers. While pursuing the Indians, they were ambushed December the 1st, 1885. Horatio Harris Merrill, born January 3rd, 1837, and his daughter Eliza Ann Merrill, born July 27th, 1881, who, while traveling by team and wagon from Pima, Arizona to Clifton, Arizona, were ambushed and killed by Indians with rifles December 3rd,
1895, shortly after sundown. Got a pretty good wind in the face right now. It's really slowing me down. Anytime I could be making really good time, the winds seem to cut me back.
My plan was to ride from Safford past Lordsburg, New Mexico to Dyersburg. This would have put me a half day ahead of schedule, but the winds had a say in how far I would ride today.
I guess maybe now I'll change my mind about going on to Dyersburg tomorrow. I mean tonight. I won't go to Dyersburg. I'll stop in Lordsburg. That's going to put me at 135 miles of riding tomorrow.
Winds aren't the only thing you keep watch on. Elevation is another huge concern. If you're in high elevation, it means sooner or later you'll have some downhill. Lower elevations and you're climbing again.
There it is, Duncan. Elevation 3,600 feet. So if you look at it from a standpoint of coming back home to Fort Payne, which elevation is 600 and something feet, I still got a ways to go yet. I'll get rid of some more of that though in the next couple of days. But it'll increase, it'll go back and forth till I get to Georgia.
Well, a few miles down the road I reached the New Mexico state line. So far I've traveled 666.4 miles, ridden 8 days, crossed 2 deserts, and picked up a 17-year-old Egyptian kid on my way to Tybee Island. Tune in again next time and we'll go through some beautiful New Mexico mountains, ride through Roswell, New Mexico and Billy the Kid country, and maybe even meet a few angels on our way back home.